Welcome to the Matt Burns podcast. I am your host, Hug You Very Seriously, proudly sponsored by Thrash Wrestling. We are here at the Schubert Center right after an amazing night, even better. So, my guest today is the one and only international superstar, the brand new Thrash Wrestling champion, MENTALLO. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Oh, dude, what an amazing night. A lot of times I get to talk to some talented wrestlers coming through here, and I like to ask them kind of how they got into wrestling. One of the first things I asked them is, what was the first kind of TV show that you remember watching when you were younger?
So growing up, I watched a lot of AWA. That's sort of what the primary league was in that territory. And once the WWF expansion started happening, WWF took over Maple Leaf Wrestling. So one of my earliest memories was I was a small child and I was under like a pull-out bed. And so my brother was like, he's like, "Oh, Andre the Giant's on TV." And so when I went to look up, I hit my head underneath on the metal underneath the bed. And so I have a huge scar still on my head from that. So that's kind of one of my earliest memories and injuries from wrestling.
Not even in the ring yet?
Yes.
You're already bleeding. That's absolutely perfect. You go through a big training regimen when you first start out. Where did you learn to get in the ring and get wrestling again?
So it was February 14th, 1997. I went to my very first independent wrestling show. And it was Valentine's Day. So I asked my then girlfriend at the time, like, "Hey, is it okay if we go and watch this wrestling show?" And luckily enough, she was very much okay with that. So we went to the show and watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is exactly what I want to do." So I met with one of the wrestlers after the show and said, "Hey, listen, I watched the show. This is exactly what I want to do." And it turns out it was Vance Nevada. And so he said to me, "Okay, since this is what you want to do, this Sunday, come down to the training center and start training." And away I went.
Since you're training, you spent a lot of time in there. You've probably been through hundreds and hundreds of matches. There's any highlights of your career that you really look forward on?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the fondest memories and toughest matches that I had was against Kenny Omega in Japan. This was, I want to say, August of 2010. And, Kenny was sort of starting to hit his peak as a pro wrestler. And, it's very memorable for a lot of things because, Kenny on a good day will credit me as his trainer, credit me as his mentor. And other days he'll say that he was self-trained, right? And so I understand both. But it was a very important match because we kind of came up together. Like, he sort of came up under me, but they were giving two foreigners the spotlight in Japan. And he had probably experienced that before, but that was my first time experiencing that. And so we had a great match, and according to him, it was voted independent match of the year. But there's some politics with us being foreigners and winning an award and stuff like that. So I don't really want to get into that too much. But it was a great match, and it was something that was very memorable for myself.
I imagine traveling around the world, no matter where you go, is always an additional experience in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any places that you haven't gone to yet that you kind of have on your bucket list to go to wrestle for?
I'm always open to, and I would love to see the world. That's one thing that, something I said tonight is that we don't make a lot of money as independent pro wrestlers, but I've been very fortunate to be able to go to Japan or go to Mexico or go to different parts of the United States or go to different parts of Canada, whereas there are a lot of people who don't even leave 4 square blocks of their house. So while there are some trade-offs where I may not be rich and I may not have a lot of assets, I still was able to make a lot of memories and do a lot of traveling, all because of pro wrestling. So I'm very thankful for the memories and the experiences that I was able to have.
It's always an absolute lesson for sure. Is there anything? Well, every time there's some backstage stuff, sometimes it's not really talked about. But is there any kind of funny moments in your wrestling career that you wouldn't mind sharing with the audience?
Okay. So I remember when we originally did this interview, I told a story about during my first match, I was wrestling against Andy Anderson, Glenella, Manitoba. I want to say it was July 28th, 97. And so he had me in like sort of like a wrist lock, like interlock the fingers. And so I went to step off the middle rope onto the top rope, kind of like Owen Hart used to do. And so I step on the middle, and then I went to step on the top rope, and my foot slipped, and like I ended up splitting the top rope and crunching myself. And yeah, it was very embarrassing, but thankfully, like it wasn't well attended that day. So yeah, but that's one of my stories from my first match. Just something that kind of sticks out to me as being relatively funny, I guess, now in retrospect.
Yeah. You've probably seen a lot of people getting into wrestling, and starting out brand new. What are you gonna say? Any piece of advice that you would give somebody who wants to get into this business?
Mm-hmm. So this might be a controversial opinion, and this is strictly my opinion, but some people might find it controversial. Is that wrestling is not for everybody. The same way the NBA, the NFL, the NHL are not for everyone. There are certain criteria that you have to meet in order to be a professional athlete. And the same thing, in my personal opinion, applies to wrestling, because you have to pick up people, you have to be able to run, there's certain athletic moves that you have to be able to do. And there's a stigma today that, wrestling is for everyone. That simply isn't the case, especially if you want to perform at a high athletic level. It's just simply not for everyone. So I would say if someone aspires to be a pro wrestler, they should consider lifting weights, maybe taking martial arts, maybe taking some sort of amateur wrestling. Even things like gymnastics and stuff can be very beneficial. But wrestling is not just simply for anyone who sits on their couch or those type of things. Like, there's certain roles for people in the wrestling business, but not everyone should be inside of the ring as an athlete.
It makes complete sense. Now, do you have any goals in your future for what you kind of want in the wrestling business?
Yeah, of course. Like, I would still love to return to Japan. I would still love to return to Mexico. There's different parts of the United States that, I would love to wrestle in. So I still do have a lot of goals and stuff for myself and things that I'd love to achieve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thank you for coming on the podcast here. It was really nice to meet some amazing people and yourself. We've done this once before. I'm glad that we can actually get this done again.
Absolutely.
I know the next time we'll be seeing you is in what is the date on there?
November 21st.
November 21st.
Yes.
The Rebel in Kelowna.
Yes.
What is it called?
One Crazy Night.
Excellent.
Featuring former ECW, former WWE superstar, Super Crazy. So it should be a good time. Hopefully all the folks in Kelowna come out. If you live close, if you're a big fan of Thrash Pro Wrestling, you're a big fan of Zombie Killer Mentallo, I hope to see you there.
I'm so thankful for you all. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more interviews, get me some more experience. If you have any names that you want me to bring on to the podcast, please let me know. And if you want, come on over, join us in Kelowna. Come on over, join us at Super Emo. Come on, you can have an amazing time. Thank you again. I love you all. Bye for now.
Every sweat and tear, sleepless night.